Okay, let's look at the solutions. First question, excuse me. It's about time and work. It's a very simple question based on time and work. Look at this. A, B, and C can finish a work in 10, 15, and 30 days respectively, working alone. If A and B started working together and after 3 days, B left the work and C joined to finish the remaining work with A. For how many days did C work? Okay. Let's try to apply that unit method. The values given here are 10, 15 and 30. If you take the LCM, that comes out to be 30. So let's assume that the total work which needs to be finished is 30 units. A, B, C. A takes 10 days to finish 30 units. That means his per day work should be 3 units. B's per day work should be 2. And C can do 30 units in 30 days. That means in one day he can do 1 unit. Now, who started? A and B started working together and they work for 3 days. Their one day's work should be 3 plus 2, 5. Since they work for 3 days, then the number of units finished by them will be 15. Still, 15 more units are left. Now, B left the work. That means now onwards, A and C will work together. Their combined one day's work is 3 plus 1, that is 4. And they need to finish how much work? 15 is already finished. How much is left? 15 more. And they're working at the rate of 4 units per day. So they'll take how many more days? I believe it's 3.75 days. So the answer becomes fourth option. Again, it was an easy question. Let's look at the next one. It's the actual CAT question. I believe it was a CAT 2006. Shabnam is considering three alternatives to invest her surplus cash for a week. She wishes to guarantee maximum returns on her investment. She has three options, each of which can be utilized fully or partially in conjunction with others. The first option A is about what? Investing in a public sector bank, which will give you a guaranteed return of 0.1%. Second option is in mutual funds. It will give you a profit of 5% with a rise in stock market, while it will give you a loss of 3% when the market falls. And reverse is in option C. You'll get minus 2.5%. That means there'll be a loss of 2.5% if the stock market, if you see a rise in the stock market. And while a fall will give you a will give you a profit of 2%. Now she wants to decide that how much she should invest and in which option so that she gets a guaranteed return. The easiest one is this. She'll always get a guaranteed return of 0.1% because it's just like FD, fixed deposit. But she wants more profit. And if you look at the options, 0.1% is there and the remaining four options are more than 0.1%. So let's look at this, that will she get a profit of more than 0.1%? So she'll try to invest some part in B and some part in C. Let's assume that she'll invest X rupees in option B and Y rupees in option C. If she invests X rupees in option B, if the market goes up, she'll get a return of 5%. So she'll get a profit of 5% of her investment. What was the investment? X. She'll get 5% of X. But on the same side, she has invested Y rupees in stock C, option C, where she'll have to bear a loss of 2.5%. So if the market goes up, she'll get 5% of X from option B and she'll lose 2.5% from option C. So 2.5% of Y rupees. This would be the total return of Shabnam if the market goes up. What if she observes a fall in market? In that case, she'll make a profit from option C, 2%. 2% of Y. But she'll have to bear a loss of 5% in option B. So minus 5% of X. Looking for what? Maximum guaranteed return to Shabnam. She'll invest in a way such that she gets the same profit in both the cases, whether the market goes up or it falls. So in that case, I can say that in both the cases, profit must be equal. So I'll equate these two equations. This will give you how much? This was 5% of X. And if you look at this one, there'll be a loss of how much? 2.5%. So I should write how much? This was 2% and there was a loss of 3%. It was my mistake. I'll make it 3. So minus 3% of x comes on this side. 5% plus 3% will give you how much? 8% of x. And this 2.5 goes on that side. 2% of y plus 2.5 will give you 4% of y. After solving this, what you'll get? X by y must be equal to 4.5 by 8. When you solve it, you'll get 9 by 16. That means she'll invest in this ratio. I can say that she'll invest 9 parts of her money in option B and 16 parts of her money in option C. So there are 25 parts. Now let's look at the maximum guaranteed return. So if you make it 9 rupees and 16 rupees, what she'll get it from here? 9 rupees, I'll put it here. 5% of 9 minus 2.5% of 16. So total investment will become 9 plus 16, that is 25 rupees. And a profit would be 5% of 9 and 2.5% of 16. What is 5% of 9? 0.45. 2.5% of 16. What is 2.5% of 16? 25% of 16 must be equal to 4. So 2.5% will become 0.4. So there will be a net profit of 0.05. And what was the investment at that time? I'll say 0.05 out of 25. So the maximum guaranteed return will be 25 into 4 is 100, 4 into 0.05. What will you get? 0.2%. So the maximum guaranteed return to Shabnam must be equal to 0.2%. You need to equate these two equations. This was the important part of this question because you wanted the maximum guaranteed return. So in both the cases, the return should be same. So she'll invest in such a way that whether the market goes up or goes down, in both the cases she gets the equal return. So it should be 0.2%. Let's look at the second part of this question. In the previous question, what strategy will maximize the guaranteed return to Shabnam? We have already seen that she'll invest in the ratio of what? 6 is to. It was 6 is to how much? 9 is to 16. So she'll invest in the ratio of 9 is to 16. The answers are in terms of what percentage? 64% in option B. No. She'll invest more in option C. So this is ruled out. 1 by 3. No. 30% in option A? No. Again, this is wrong. 100% is option A? This is wrong. So the correct answer should be, let's cross check it. She'll invest 9 parts out of 25 parts. This becomes how much percent? 25 into 4, 9 into 4 will give you how much? 36%. So she'll invest 36% of her money in option B and the remaining 64% in option C. This was the second part. 3 men and 4 women can do a piece of work in 12 days, while 4 men and 3 women can do the same work in 10 days. In how many days 12 women can do the work? We know that in these kind of questions, the product of men in days or women in days or group in days always remains same. So can we say a group of 3 men plus 4 women? They take how many days? 12. So this becomes group days for me. Second time there are 4 men and 3 women. They take how many days? 10. So I should multiply here 10. So group in 2 days must be equal to group in 2 days, provided that the work remains same. When you solve it, what you will get here? 36 men plus 48 women. This must be equal to 40 men plus 30 women. So this will give you 4 men is equal to 18 women, or 2 men is equal to 9 women. This is the relationship. That means 2 men are equally efficient as 9 women. Now what do you want to find? In how many days 12 women can do the work? So let's convert all the men in terms of women. I'll pick this one. Second group contains 4 men, and we know that 2 men are equal to 9 women or 4 men are equal to 18. So these 4 men can be replaced by 18 women. So I'll say 18 women plus there were 3 more women. They take how many days? 10 days. Now there's a group of 12 women. Last part of the question. I'll write 12 women here. They'll take how many days? I don't know. I'll take it equal to X. When you equate it, what you'll get here? 21 women into 10 divided by 12 women must be equal to X. Now this is 3 into 4. This is 3 into 7. 70 by 4. This comes out to be 17.5. So 17.5 days are required to finish the whole work if only 12 women will work. Let's look at the next one. It's a very good question based on pipes in system. Look at this. There are 3 pipes. A and B can fill the tank while C can empty the complete tank. Their values are also given. So let's take the LCM of 4, 5 and 3. When you take the LCM, what you will get? 60. Assume that the total work means filling this tank is equivalent to what? 60 units. Pipe A will take how much time? 4, 5, 3. 60 units in 4 hours, that means 1 hour's work should be 15. Pipe B, 1 hour work will be 12. For pipe C, 1 hour work will be minus 20 because pipe C is an empty pipe. It will not fill the tank, it is going to empty the tank. Now how they were opened? Pipe A is opened first at time t is equal to 0 hours. Okay, t is equal to 0 hours, that means initially only pipe A was open. And pipe C is open at the instant when the tank is exactly half filled. So which pipe will fill the half tank? Obviously pipe A. Pipe A can fill the whole tank of 60 units in 4 hours. So half tank can be filled by pipe A in how many hours? 2 hours. After 2 hours, C was also open. Pipe is open first time at t is equal to 0 and pipe C is open at the instant when the tank is exactly half filled with the water. Pipe B is open after pipe C and at the instant when the tank is exactly 1/4 filled with the water. Now 1/4 means what? When you open pipe C, by that time the tank was half filled. Now after few hours it was only 1/4 filled. That means C will do the negative work. 1/4 means 15 units. Now out of 60 units, only 15 is left. Initially, how many units were done by pipe A? 30. But now only 15 is left. That means there will be a loss of 15 units. How do we solve it? When you start pipe C, it will do a negative work of 20 units. And same time, A will do a positive work of 15 units. That means effectively there will be a loss of 5 units. But I want to lose how much? 30 was initially. After some times only 15 units should be left. That means there should be a loss of 15 units. They can give you a loss of 5 units per hour and you want to make a loss of 15 units. So definitely 3 hours are required for that. So for the next 3 hours, A and C will be open. After that, B will be open. Pipe B is open after pipe C and at the instant when the tank is exactly 1/4. Now I need to fill the remaining 3/4 of the tank. That means 3/4 of 60. What is 3/4 of 60? 45 units. Now this work will be done by all the 3 pipes together. So let's calculate their efficiency. Pipe A will fill 15, pipe B will fill 12, pipe C will empty 12. So effectively they can do 7 units per hour. Now 7 units per hour and they need to fill how much? 45 units. So the time required will become 45 by 7. And how do we write 45 by 7? It's 6, 3 by 7. And before that they've already taken how many hours? 2 plus 3 will give you 5. 5, 6, 3 by 7 will give you how much? 11, 3 by 7. So the answer for this question becomes first option. Okay, let's look at the next one. Again, it's a time and work question. 1 man and 6 women working together can do a job in 10 days. The individual days are not given. The same job is done by 2 men in P days and by 8 women in P plus 5 days. By what percent is the efficiency of a man greater than that of a woman? Now there is a variable P. We don't know the value of P. Okay. Let's assume that one man can do M units per day and one woman can do W units per day. So if you look at this one, there was one man, so he'll do M units, and six women will do six W units. Okay, one day, and they work for 10 days. So the total work will become M plus 6W into 10. This is the total work and this will always remains same. What's the next line? The same job is done by two men in P days. Now two men can do that job in P days and by 8 women in P plus 5 days. Two men can do the job in P days. Okay. I can say that work done by one man is M units, so two men should be 2M units. So they'll take how many days? This is the total work. Their one day's work is 2M. So they'll take these many days. And this is given equal to how much? P days. Similarly, if you look at the next line, 8 women. What's the total work? M plus 6W into 10 divided by 8 women will do how many units? 8W. So they need these many days and this is given equal to P plus 5. So clearly I can say that the difference of these two equations must be equal to 5 days. So how do we write it? This is 10M plus 60W divided by 8W minus 10M plus 60W divided by 2M. The difference in their days is equal to 5. So I'm getting only one equation here. When you try to simplify this, what do you get? This is 10M plus 60W. Okay. When you divide them separately, 10M by 8W will give you 5 by 4. You'll get 5M by 4W minus 30W by M. Because this will give you 60W by 8W. WW gets cancelled out. You'll get 60 by 8 which goes on right hand side. Similarly, when you simplify the right hand side, you will get 5 by 2. Now what do you want? I'm getting M and W here, two variables, one equation. We cannot find the values of M and W, but we can get the relationship between them. Let's put M by W equal to X here. When you put X here, this becomes 5 by 4 of X minus, this is the reverse of that. So this will become 30 by X, which is given equal to 5 by 2. So after solving this, we'll get a quadratic equation and we'll get the value of X equal to 6 by 1. And what was X? M by W. Work done by one man, work done by one woman, that is 6 is to 1. That means men is 6 times equally efficient as a woman. 6 times more efficient. 6 times efficient as a woman. So the efficiency of men should be 500% more than the efficiency of a woman. So the answer becomes how much? 500%. Because the ratio is 6 is to 1. If I am twice as efficient as you, that means I am 100% more efficient than you. If I am thrice as efficient as you, that means I am 200% more efficient than you. So same logic will work here. Let's move on to the next one. Akash was checking watermelon price at a supermarket, which had 3 different types of watermelons, namely M1, M2 and M3. So there are 3 different type of watermelon, M1, M2, M3. Okay. Then he's talking about their price as well as weight. So I'll put price here, weight here, and let's assume some values here according to the statements. What's the first statement? It says that M1 was 50% more expensive than M3. So let's assume that price of M3 is 100x. So price of M1 will become 150x. And weighted 20% less than M2. So let's say the weight of M2 is 100 by. So weight of M1 is 20% less than that. So it becomes 81. Then, however, M2 was 50% heavier than M3. M2 is 100 by, which is 50% more than M3. So that should give you 66.66 times of Y. And 25% more expensive than M1. M1 is 150x, 25% more than this will give you 187.5 here. So I've got the values of their prices as well as weight in terms of X and Y. Now what's the question? The price per unit price of which melon is the least. Per unit price means price divided by weight. So simply you need to divide these value. For M1 it should be 150 by 80, which comes in the range of 1.8 something. Similarly for M2 it's 187.5 by 100. It will again give you 1.87. But 100 by 66.66 will give you how much? This is 100 and this is 66.33. So you'll get 4 by 3 means 1.33. So the least value is for M3. So my answer becomes third option. I hope this is clear. Let's move on to the next one. Shell jar has a faulty balance. So if you talk about a weighing balance, there will be two pans, left side, right side. Generally, these weights of these pans should be same so that you get the correct weight. But look at this one. The left pan of which weighs 200 grams more than the right one. This is 200 gram heavier than the right one. She has a weighing measure of 1 kg only. Okay. While buying goods, she keeps a measure on the left pan. She keeps a measure on the left pan, and while selling, she keeps a measure on the right pan. When you're going to buy something, you'll put the weighing stones here. This is already heavier, 200 gram heavier than this. So if you want to buy 1 kg, that means 100,000 grams. Using this weighing balance, you will get 1200 grams because this is already 200 grams heavier than the right one. You'll put a weighing stone of 1 kg here. But if you are asking for a sugar, you will not get 1 kg, you will get more than that because this was already heavier, 200 grams. So effectively, this weighing balance will measure 1200 grams. So you'll get a profit of 20% here. So if you pay for 1000 grams, you'll get 1200 grams. And while selling, she keeps the measure on the right pan. So if somebody asks for 1 kg, you'll put the weighing stones here. So he'll pay you for 1000 grams, but you'll give him how much? 800 grams. You'll give him 800 grams. So 1000 grams, somebody will pay you for 1000 grams, but you'll give him only 800 grams. And while buying the goods, you paid for 1000 grams and you got 1200 grams. So effectively, what will happen here? You purchased 1200 grams and you paid some money. You got the same money, but you gave only 800 grams. So you'll get a profit of how many grams? 400 grams. Or let's take it in the other way. I paid 1000 rupees. Let's say the price per unit per gram is 1000. I paid 1000 rupees. Okay. But I'll get 1200 grams. So effectively, I got 1200 grams. But I paid only 1000 rupees. While selling the goods, I'll give 800 grams to the customer, but I'll ask 1000 rupees for that. So there is no profit, no loss in terms of rupees here. But if you look at the quantity, you purchased 1200 grams and you sold 800 grams. So in every transaction, you're going to save 400 grams. So you're going to save 400 grams after selling every 800 grams. So what's the profit here? 400 by 800, that gives you 1 by 2 into 100, which is 50%. So the answer becomes third option. Okay, let's look at the next question. CAT question, I believe CAT 2004. In an examination, there are 100 questions divided into 3 groups A, B and C, such that each group contains at least one question. Each question in a group A carries 1 mark, in group B it carries 2 marks, and in group C it carries 3 marks. But the individual questions breakup is not given. It is known that the questions in group A together carry at least 60% of the total marks. This is the additional information given here. So let's assume that there were X questions in group A, Y questions in group B, and Z questions in group C, and their sum must be equal to 100. Fine. And the total marks just because of the X questions of group A must be equal to X into 1, that is X. Just because of group B, each question of group B carries 2 marks each, and number of questions are Y, so the total marks will become 2Y. And for third group C, the marks must be 3Z. So these are the total marks given here. And it's also given that the total marks, the questions in the group A together carry at least 60% of the total marks. That means X should be greater than or equal to zero point 0.6 times of T. 0.6 is for 60%. Okay, now this is the restriction. Now let's look at question A. If group B contains 23 questions, that means he has given you the value of y. If y becomes 23, then x plus z must be equal to 77. And I'll put 23 here. That will give you 46 marks. So just because of 23 questions, the total marks for group B will become 46. Now what is unknown? X and Z here. If group B contains 23 questions, then how many questions are there in a group C? If you look at the options, it says 1, 2, 3 and cannot be determined. So let's start with options. If you look at the first option, it says 1. That means I can put Z equal to 1 here. If you put Z equal to 1, then this part will become 3. And if you put Z equal to 1, X will become 76. And this part will become 76. So the total marks will become 76 plus 46 plus 3. That makes how much? 110 and 12, 122, 125. And 76 is obviously greater than what? 60% of 125. So this will work here when you put Z equal to 1. But one of the options says cannot be determined. So we'll have to cross check it for the other values also. 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. So when you put Z equal to 2, this part 3 into 2 will give you 6. 2y is already 46. 2y is already 46. And this x becomes how much? Z was 2. So x becomes 75. So this is 75. 75 plus 46 plus 6 will give you how much? 17, 7, 1 carry over, 127. So is 75 greater than 60% of this? No, it's not greater than 60% of 127. That means this restriction will not work here. So I cannot put z equal to 2. Similarly, if you put z equal to 3, this part will become 9. And this will remain 46. And x will become how much? 74. So you'll get 74. But 74 will not be greater than or equal to 60% of the total. So I cannot put x equal to 2 or 3 here. So we can observe that as z increases, x decreases. And the percentage marks of group A decreases. Hence, there's only one question in group C. There should be only one question in group C. So your answer becomes first option. I hope this is clear. Let's look at the next question, the second part of this question. If group C contains 8 questions and group B carries at least 20% of the total marks, then which of the following best describes the number of questions in group B? I'm not sure about the number of questions of group A and group B. Okay, how do we solve it? If group C contains how many questions? 8. Group A, I don't know. Group B, I don't know. But in all, there were 100 questions. That means some of the questions of group A and B should become 92. And we know that x plus y plus z was equal to 100. Since group C contains 8 questions, that means value of z is 8. So x plus y becomes how much? 92. There was a restriction that x should be greater than or equal to what? 0.6 times of t. There is one more restriction. The number of marks in group B should be at least 20% of the total marks. That means that 2y should be greater than or equal to 0.2t, 20% of total. So you'll have to match these two conditions. Okay. Now we know that a plus b must be equal to 92. If you look at the first option, the number of questions in group B should be either 11 or 12. So let's put y equal to 11 here. I'll assume that the group B contains 11 questions. If group B contains 11 questions, then group A will have how many questions? 81. Now let's look at the total numbers. We know that 81 questions in group A will give you 81 marks. If B contains 11 questions, then the number of marks because of them will be 22. C already contains 8 questions and each question of C was of 3 marks. So total marks will become 24. Now the total marks of A, B and C in all will become how much? This will give you 126, I believe. 127. Now need to cross check these two things. I got 81 marks out of 127. This is how much I'll have to cross check it. Similarly, I'll have to cross check that marks in group B 22. Is it more than 20% of the total? 127. Now what is 20% of 127? That is 25.4. But I got only 22 marks here. That means this will not work here. So it cannot have 11 questions. Let's put B equal to 12. If you put B equal to 12, A will become how much? 80. So when you put B equal to 12, then the marks will become 24 because each question carries 2 marks. And C 24. What about A? It will have 80 marks. So this will give you how much? 128 marks. I got 80 marks out of 128 marks. Is it more than 60% of this? Then next time I got 24 marks out of 128 marks. Now 20% of 128 is 25.6, but I got only 24 here. So again this will not work here. So my answer can't be A, my answer can't be B. Similarly, we'll cross check for y equal to 13, then y equal to 14. This will work here. So it's a hit and trial approach. You'll have to check for each and every value here. So my answer is third option. Thank you.